I am finishing up my work day today. I've been hard at work on a couple different things I've been working on that I am about to show you that have taken a lot of my time and everything. And even though I'm not exactly ready because there are a lot of loops and gaps and things that I don't know very much about, and I was always hoping to connect with somebody who could fill those, gaps for me. Pause on that. I want to prove what I do put in here in case retards looking for any single thing they can come up with. That there is all weed. That is the only drug I have in my life. I don't even drink anymore. I completely quit. I haven't had a drink in maybe nearly a year. I don't know. Drinking was never a problem because I always hated it. But not to say I haven't drank or didn't get caught up into it for a stint here and there, just like a couple other extracurricular drugs. But at this point in my life, I'm not curious anymore. And I went down those paths. Thank God I got out of them. Some people don't. But marijuana is no longer looked upon by myself as a drug. And even though it's been labeled as one, I'm going to demonstrate the effect of it as I speak. I work all day on the things that I would like to start sharing to those who are willing to listen and open up discussion to anyone who would like to have one. And a discussion means put why. Don't, just say you're stupid or you don't know what you're talking about or whatever. I'm really trying to get to try and understand what it is gives you such peace in how you believe. Like, how do you rest well knowing about all this stuff going on in the world and reading the Bible? It's so confusing in so many different parts. And then, for me, I've been studying it for a long time. I look at it with fresh eyes sometimes and I'm like, no wonder. It's hard to, wrap your mind around of it. It's taken me a long time to even get to this point. And I tried the church. I tried to be, I tried that on and it didn't. I always had questions in my head lingering and things I couldn't ignore. And it was better if I would just go along with things and never ask those questions. But I couldn't no longer ignore my own voice because a God will tell you the story, right? Isn't that what the book is a letter to each of us? It's a compilation of letters left behind by people who witnessed things from their own perspective to give us at least something that they didn't have, maybe then was to, we could have all these, letters put together in this book. It's a compilation of different regions. There wasn't social media networks and plane, trains, and automobiles to connect with one another. They had letters they penned and left behind that we based a bunch of interpretations and assumptions off of it. And it's not even the original language. It was written in Hebrew. I don't know Hebrew, do you? So before I go basing my whole shit around this, I'm going to, really get, figured out because I was brought up in it and I had a lot of questions in it and I was young and I never got it. All I knew is my pantyhose were itchy and I didn't like that. And I didn't like getting up early, and I learned how to know God apart from all that by just asking and saying, how can I know? I'm inundated with all this information. All I got are questions. So that's when he took me on this tour guide, through a series of experiences, brought the most ironic people into my lives at certain times to teach me certain things and enlighten my mind. They were like angels, and so it's like, okay, I'm onto something here. And now I've gathered enough that I can't, and with enough going on, believe me, I wasn't really ready right now. I still got some things I want to do and things that have to happen first, but it's like I can't sit here because I'm always the TV's always on or muted, and it's research to me. I'm listening to what all these media channels who are owned by a couple different, when you compare it to the amount of people in the world, a couple people, and how it's, because I've done my research. When people say do your research, I'm like, I have, and I'm about to tell you about it. And what I've posted so far is just the introduction. I wouldn't be, I'm not a paranoid person thinking someone's going to kill me all the time. I mean, I do get paranoias because a lot of people who spoke up for the people aren't here anymore. So, of course, there's an element of fear in saying something against what everybody else is like. America, we're the land of the free. I'm like, we're the land of the damn free fees. We aren't free. Tell me what's free about going to work every day and coming home and not having enough extra money left over to go do anything, because and I can just get up and go to work the next day and do the same thing over and over again, and I watch all these people who own these things do really nothing more extraordinary than I do, except they get to indulge in a lot of different things in the world that they shut down and block and make everything so hard for any. I mean, 80% of businesses wouldn't fail if it weren't set up kind of wrong, and it's been an ancient system, and we're still voting on cards. And I mean, I can't be quiet because there are so many questions. There's so many examples. There's everywhere I turn my head. I'm like, what? I can't turn my head anymore without saying, what the fuck? And it's to the very people who turn around and say the same thing to me. And I'm like, yeah, the only difference is you have the right to exist. You get to be the way you are, and everything's catered to you. We're this way. We can't change the way we are. We have every right to be accommodated and live here too, but we got to go through you first. It's swag weed, not even good weed. Swaggle weed. People ask me why I won't take whatever job offer comes my way right now because I'm so desperate. I'm like, that's their point. Tell me why a year ago I was in Fort Lauderdale coming off of having a day job at OfferWeb, in Lauderdale by the Sea, and working at 101 Ocean, serving at a restaurant. When I had both those jobs, I did it like one day a week sometimes at the restaurant. But I was always doing one or the other until I got to a point where someone in Boca named Andrew wanted to do an article on the business I was trying to start. I tried to be concise, so think through before I speak, and it's not that easy because it's a very intricate story how everything went down, and that's not what I want to focus on is what happened to me. I just want to say a year ago, I took a risk, yes, but it was a calculated risk, and I needed to do the next phase of market research, and I was presented with a choice, much like the one when I went to Africa, between staying at my corporate job, which I had a great foot in the door. If I would have chased that career, I'm sure it would have been lucrative, and maybe my life would have had a great purpose there. I don't know. I can only know that I chose not to do that and to go to Africa instead. So this time around, I was like, I can't wait my whole life. I don't want to be old when I feel ready now. I've had 29 jobs and I have 29 opportunities to see how things operate, and I've applied everything I've learned into what I've developed for myself. So if I never get to try it, and I keep waiting to meet an investor who will, allow me the time to explain it or not steal it from me, I'll be 92 years old saying I'm going to be a rapper or I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I don't have time for that anymore. I don't have time to wait anymore. And a year ago was only, I think the 6th time I'd climbed up from being knocked down after failing, which was nothing more than taking a risk. I mean, everybody who failed. Abraham Lincoln, I think he was not elected 32 times before he actually became president, I believe. I mean, that's by memory. I could be completely inaccurate. I'm sorry, I don't have all facts and shit in front of me right now. It's just I'm talking from the cuff here. So, failing is absolutely required to success. So I was willing to do that, but not when you become so buried and then watch them bail out banks and not people. I can't swallow that and be, oh, sure, let me serve you as fastly and expeditiously as I can so you can give me next to nothing for it and then criticize my service and then look down upon me, too. Okay, I'll be right back. Give me a damn break. And I just now say something, and now I'm the bitch. That's the funniest thing. I took your beatings. Jesus said, turn the other cheek. This ain't fucking Singapore. This is America, where speech is still free. And they're trying to fucking do shit about that if you look that up. It's like, okay, well, why I got the shot to say something for myself and the other people just like me who fucking I reach out to, we're all buried. What, isn't that ironic? All the people who see things exactly the way I do are buried right now. And that's not by design. Those people are capable. I know them. You can say all day how many jobs you got and all this, but and post them on sites. I got all the proof in the world to say all the things I signed up for. Why not me? I'm so I mean, what I mean, I don't want to brag on myself, but what the fuck are you looking for? And then you got shit with identity. I mean, all their mistakes and it affect people's lives and bury them. And it's an oops, and I make a mistake, and I am fucking to a grave. And you want me to shut up? On two. What are you gonna do? I mean, come kidnap me, shoot me, take my mouth shut so I can't say anything now? Why does it bother you so much what I say? If I'm so wrong, tell me how. Nobody's saying anything. And when they do, they stop after I say something back. And we all need to face the truth that these people are not for us. I mean, at what point? And the ones who were aren't now, because now we see all the shows about it. Do you think that's just fiction? Where do you think fiction and ideas come from? A lot of them reality. That's an even further slap in the face. Tell me how you're fucking doing it too. It's disgusting. I gotta smoke this so I don't explode. So I calm down for a second. You want it. You don't want people crime and killing and all and selling drugs. Yet when they do their time, you put a stamp on them with a felony, and many businesses won't hire people like that because they can't be trusted. When a lot of times in the first place they were either young or pushing that position. A lot of them didn't have families who took care of them. They were on the streets way too young, way too susceptible to way too many different demons. They never got a chance for redemption because I've been in every correctional facility evaluating you. You thought I was there for you to evaluate me. Which those are the things I get to giggle about in my life. That's what it's about for me sometimes because, yeah, it is enjoyable. It is enjoyable to watch you think you're fooling me. But thank God for social media. Thank God for the ability to connect with others. Thank God for only needing myself to do most of the things I've done. But this has gone on far too long for me not to start saying something about it because I let you push me away for long enough. I let you wait till it was too late and pretend to rescue me and then either make me your slave or subject to whatever you wanted to define my life to do. The first available opportunity, the first available man, I mean, really? And you actually want to convince me it's supposed to be like that we're supposed to just keep up with these things. I mean, the people who are happy and got it, awesome, but there are a lot of people not getting the opportunities for that and very deliberately being blocked from ever having the ability to do so. Because you got to keep someone willing to do the low-level jobs, and they aren't kids. Go into some places right now. They're not kids doing kid jobs anymore. We can do things by ourselves, especially if they spot a smart one. Got to keep that one down longer. Got to rape that person of everything we can. Fuck getting tied up and butt fucked. I should have became a prostitute. Some people have accused me of a long time ago. I'd have a lot more shit right now. I'd definitely have more freedoms. But I would have sold my soul. And don't think I haven't come to those doors so many times. It's like Jesus when he was on the 40th day of no food and was so hungry and was tempted with everything in the world by Satan. He said, get away from me, Satan. I'm going to have to be on the streets with animals eating me because I've faced wanting to kill myself, and fortunately or unfortunately, I don't have the balls to kill myself because I'd much sooner rather go to Jesus. And Jesus said you're there for not yourself, but for other people. So for the people I see, because maybe I can fucking get hurt somehow because I'm relentless. I got nothing to lose. I got no one to appease. So I'm going to go out at least saying something. Because I'd rather stand for something than have lived for something that I saw and I knew. It's like witnessing a crime and never saying something. So in New York, you can get stabbed on the street and no one will turn you in. I mean, I'm no snitch. I could have had many things I could have sued different people for or filed suit or police reports and never did because that's not how I've ever been protected on my own side. I've never had to cross those lines, but I meet people who do and I understand why they've had to do it. I believe there is another road, but some people don't have that faith. Some people don't know God like that yet. Some people don't know themselves like that and what they're made of yet like that. And I see them trapped. I see a reason for those things. But then I turn and look at the people who we just want to be heard by and that do have all the power to change things. And all we're asking for, and they don't even give me a chance to be heard, yet they can exist as they are and live as double standards and live above the law. And yet we're subject to it. Are you kidding? This is Ashton Kutcher is going to walk in, right? Seriously? Because this has got to be punked or something. You can't be blatantly doing this right in front of my face thinking I'm really that stupid. That's offensive. So, with this time on my hands, and however long it lasts, and however much that I can grab, until I can see some change, real change for people, I'm never going to stop. Someone's going to have to stop me. And it's to my fortune anyway if they do. Because the torture that they might do before I actually die would be the bad part. But you got to assess what life's all about. If you really live for another side, which I believe there is a heaven, there has to be ultimate justice in a world this fucked up. And you don't learn the end of the test till it's over. And there's enough eye in the skies and in the false ceiling here to know that I'm probably seeing, every single thing you do. So that's how I live. It's not ironic to me when I come up to things I really need or want to get by and it's tied on to some set of things I'm unwilling to do, and that's the choice. That's not ironic to me. That's Satan right there in disguise. I learned that a long time ago, and that's why I'm in the position I'm in. Satan doesn't want people like me around. If I succeed, that wouldn't be good. The worst part is people don't even think there is a Satan. That it's all God, testing us, that we choose him. And it's like, could be, right? Could. But I've been pursuing things that would certainly, if succeed, put a dent in a lot of different arenas. And that's not arrogance to say, that's just looking at what I do objectively to see what it is, and to be thankful to be the vessel chosen to do it. And it's not an arrogance. It's a privilege, that's all. To humble yourself and to die to yourself. Nikki, I died a long time ago because I wouldn't be willing to do the things I'm doing now. That's for sure. So speaking my heart, my mind, and writing about it, and all these different avenues that I try to utilize in order to wake people up is also an opportunity for myself to be further enlightened, because it's only by learning and being open-minded and listening to all different types of people was I able to get a well-rounded view. And I'm not to be God. I'm not supposed to understand it all. I don't want to put, all the puzzle pieces together and feel like I'm satisfied. I like the adventure. I like that I have a lifetime to apply myself and to learn. And, but if I'm a hostage and I'm trapped by a system that isn't God, it's not God's system. God already built this system. Go to Africa. That's the thing. I traveled. I saw where different people live and how they live. And I'm just like, immediately when I came back to of all places, had to land in Orange County, California after coming back from Africa. I couldn't get away from that state faster. But I mean, now I want to go back. I love this state and I do love a lot about it. But the reason I felt like that right when I first got back was just because you realize how unfair it is and how we're over there trying to help them with the word of Jesus. How they're, we have industry and we have, they have hands and feet and brains and mind just like we do. Why is it taking so long with all these charity benefits that they get all fancy and raise all these millions and millions of dollars every day of the week? There's one, and it goes on for years and years and years. And you look at the rate of progress in these countries that are a part of that and in our own backyard, and then you compare that with the progress and the lifestyles that they have, and you say, what makes you worth as much as you apparently are? Just asking some questions. And my curiosities. Like, I couldn't, after growing up a Christian in a Methodist church, I couldn't, and the word grace in front of that, grace. That's an interesting word, grace and mercy and things like that. Forgiveness. In the writing parts, I get more detailed and bring up more biblical principle and found things on different books I've read, because it's a better way to do that. That's why I still write. That's why I don't just say everything instead of writing. That's why the books will never be obsolete. I mean, books themselves, hardbacks, I don't know, maybe, I hope not. I love books, but possibly. But the need for someone to read and use their imagination will never go away. And when I talk, it's more I'm trying to be more broad and not as detailed, because it's a way to explain from an overview what I'm about to show, if I can. If I last that long, or I lost my thought there. But being candid is important in order to convey why you feel a certain way. And when you get specific about it and try to spell it out, it's much easier to do in writing, because you have time to edit and research and rewrite. So I don't want to get caught up and let off track when I post videos, because the purpose of it is to just, because if I write it, then there are people who say it's not me, or it's just all these doubts, and like, people need proof anymore. I realize, like, they're marketing for everything, and you buy things and they don't work, and you get into a job and you realize you don't necessarily agree with the office politics or the work ethics or the hours even. I mean, when did we stop having rights? And if I host all these abilities that I paid for with my time and my money, and I can just connect with the people in my neighborhood who need those things, and maybe those same people can help me out on the things I don't know how to do, and barter like old school. When did it become so that scales tip so much? When did I have to go to work and I pay taxes for things that are supposed to, serve and protect me, and then I call upon those things to serve, those institutions to serve and protect me, and it feels the exact opposite. The day my car got stolen, I was so shaken up by that cop being so mean to me, and then my friend coming there at the same time, and there are two people that are, like, literally both looking at me. I'm like, why isn't this dude standing next to me looking at this cop with me? It's like, I don't understand what happened, why people aren't given a fair shake, and why you assume because I'm poor or because I don't have a job at the current second and moment of my life, does that mean I'm worthless? It's like I never did everything I have done. So that's why I have to put it out there, even if there are all these blocks. I'll do it in another way. You block all these different ways. If I can't go any of your avenues to do it, then I'm going to go this way and risk and gamble at being all stolen. That's the other gamble. If you can't pay for what it takes to protect your ideas and the things I talk about, then you really care about the message itself, and you don't want to be a hoarder like they are and do the very same thing, hoard everything, then you got to be willing to give it, because freeing your mind, the rest does follow. And the truth does set you free. And I realized that if I can do nothing else but just babble, then that's what I'm going to do, and continue to try and get someone who can help hear me. Because like I've reached a time limit. I can't say that I can't take it any more times. Like, it beats you down, it depresses you. I have bad days and good days, and I'm tired of struggling. It's not like I have money in the bank every day. It's like, you know what that's like to have to worry about how you're going to survive for that day, and how to do that legally. That right there is an accomplishment to me. I should have, instead of a degree on the wall, I should somehow put that in a frame. I spun moves so much in life that I got by somehow only with a DUI. And it's not because you could say, oh, it's because you didn't get caught. I'm like, no. Like, I'm not saying faulting the people who don't, because I get it. I'm just saying that that's why it's an accomplishment to me, because there was always a window open. You may not see it, and you may have to bust through that motherfucker, and it may not be pretty for your life, but I may not like sleeping in my car and showering at the gym, or parked in a friend's driveway, or on their couch, or whatever, for the stints I've had to do that to get reboot so I can stabilize with some sort of serving job to get going again whenever I get someone to be like, ha, boo, I'm really this ugly ass monster that's had a hidden agenda the whole time. Perfect. So here we go again. And then that's what I call the dance with the devil. It's the waltz, because you will have to kill me. I swear it. 26 minutes this time. See, I'm never sure. I could do this for hours and hours and hours on end. Why? Because I'm full. I'm full. I've had a lot of experience and read a lot of things, and I've had a lot of time to weigh some things down, even when I was serving the whole time. That only requires my body. I had jobs for a long time where I could show up and I was not even present. So it's like being forced into saying something finally, because I'm trapped completely, and I only have one option, and that's just to try and say what I'm thinking. Facebook, in the little status, it says, "What's on your mind?" Well, Facebook, do you have a minute? That feels like a good ending. I need a shower. I purposely don't also want to look cute either. It's like, what is the point of looking cute? Now that I can't look cute, let me tell you, real quick, I just should have ended it there, but watching yourself deteriorate, because I didn't realize, when I was able to color my hair and have extensions and nice clothes and all these things that I no longer have, really, it was heartbreaking at first. Same thing with my phone and everything I've lost, really, when my car is gone. Like, all these things, when they get stripped from you, you're like, okay, God giveth and God taketh. All right, I could deal with that. Like, there's got to be some reason, some sacrifice. And since I have to end up in these institutions, and I've been on this kind of research on my own, unaware of that for a while, as I was really doing it, because I was just asking questions, and then that's when I started the documentary, because I was like, okay, I'm going to make this a focus thing, because I'm finding some stuff here that needs... That's how I thought about Loose Change, the documentary about the Twin Towers. The original one, not the one that's been edited that's available online. The one that was available first out when it first happened. These kids went to research it, and they were uncovering a bunch of things that they wanted to expose. And yes, they're conspiracy theories, but what theory isn't a conspiracy theory? All theories are just theories, right? So why, because it's a theory that isn't what we deem as fact, is that a conspiracy theory? I understand that's what defines a conspiracy, but I'm just saying, I'm just asking questions because it doesn't make, the facts don't make sense when you line up the evidence. And when you look at the effect of collective thought over compounded generations of time and compiled since the time, I guess, Adam and Eve fucked it up. I don't know, whatever story you want to go with. But the point is, we're here now, and it's weird, right? And we're told all this stuff is going to happen before the end times in the Bible. If you're going with that history book, then that's what you're told there. So I'm just comparing them all, and I'm saying, if history is just continuing to repeat itself, and we're doing the same damn thing, fighting and warring with each other, and hoarding resources that are scattered, and fighting with it, you have to do this, and if I do this, and you have to do this, and all this stuff. I'm like, what? We're all just human beings. It just I want to do this over here, and you do that over there, and we're all good, right? Because I get up in a plane and I see all this land, all this vacancy, and then I get to cities, we're all piled on top of each other, arguing with each other. I'm like, what is this? It's so foreign to me. I'm so glad I grew up in the country, deprived of most of that, and didn't really have many TV channels, because I'm glad I can see that this is just getting out of hand here. We're all just trying to fight to be right, and none of us are necessarily right. We all just different for different reasons, different things we're supposed to be doing here. And, I pick up a history book from a long time ago, and I see how all these things have continued to grow and branch out and compare, and they're all relevant to today because it's the same history. We keep repeating ourselves. The definition of insane. If we don't try anything different, it'll never be different. So, of course, it's going to be the end of the world someday. Because we have nuclear bombs that'll destroy the whole planet, pointing at each other right now. And as soon as we all have what if one dude on an emotional day or woman, just like, oh, fuck it, boom. The whole world explodes. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. We're look at us getting high, kumbaya. We just want to sing with our music and whatever, and they just hate us. Why? Because you weren't free? Because you've become a slave to something you don't understand yourself? You're just going along with it? What is it? You won't talk to me about it. You won't set up examples really in front of me, so I get it then. And there are a lot of people who feel like me out here. We all feel the same way. We're all bobbled minds. So it can't be us all growing up in all these different parts of the world, not separate from each other, not knowing each other, with our minds boggled for no reason, lashing out, hate crimes everywhere. Why do you think people act out like that? Why don't you think you're acting out like that? Well, because you're happy. You got everything's secure with you. Go check out the stories behind all these people. All right, 32 minutes. I guess I gotta shut up.